Hello everyone, it's Henry in the live stream. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I hope everyone can hear me and can see my screen very clearly. If you cannot hear me or cannot see my screen very clearly, please indicate so that I can have that fixed before we commence. So in the previous live stream, I talked about my analysis on the dollar, key levels I'm watching. And so far, as you can see, price created a high, created a low. Uh, I believe the sound is supposed to be okay. Can you please let me know if you cannot hear me from your end? Because the sound, everything seems pretty much perfect on my end. So can you hear me perfectly well now? All right, thank you so much for your confirmation. So I talked about my analysis on the dollar, what I'm looking forward to see in the marketplace. And as you can see, we created a high, a low, a high, and then dropped down, breaking this low. So hopefully, if we are to trend to the downside, I wouldn't be surprised to see an accumulation for sales at this key level right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see price accumulate sales at this key level. And after that accumulation for sell positions, we can now see a continuation to the downside. Thank you so much, Noru and Ray and Peter, for your confirmation. So inversely correlating that to the US dollar, our analysis, we're looking for long positions on Euro US dollar. And right here, price mitigated my point of interest, resting right here. All right. So price mitigated my point of interest, resting right here, this inefficiency. And after that mitigation, all I want to see is a 30 minutes break of structure. So we start to scale down to see whether there's been a 30 minutes break of structure. All I want to see is a 15 minutes break of structure. But as you can see on the 30 minutes time frame, we'll have a high, a low, break of structure right here, closed above this high, failed to close above this one, then another break of structure, closed above this one. This one's already left wicks, so failed to close above it. But to me, as long as we're bullish, I would like to see price consistently continue to maintain that bullish bias. So what I was working with was the 15 minutes break structure, created a high, created a low, we broke structure right here significantly, closed above this high, closed above this significant high. And after that, right here was my entry. So the entry is supposed to be the bodies of the candle, but due to spread, I didn't want to put my entry right there because for some reason, price could come down into this position and mitigate the bodies of the candle, but still not take me in. So that was why my entry is right here at 1.06199. So I prefer to use that. So I'm already in the trade. Hopefully, we see an expansion on Euro US dollar. If we're bullish, I wouldn't be surprised to see a massive expansion. So I'm looking for a re-entry into the market as well. After mitigating this position, I want to see a 3 minutes break of structure. And so far, after mitigating this position, there hasn't really been any structure. I've not really seen any structure, so I wouldn't be surprised for price to still want to coming back into this position again. If we're bullish, I wouldn't be surprised to see it revisit this position one last time. So when I say I'm looking forward to see a break of structure for a re-entry, this is what I'm looking forward to see. So we made the first leg to the downside. After that, we made another leg to the upside. So I would like to see something like this. Price make another leg, create a high, make another leg, and then break structure. So if I do see something like this break of structure like this, then I'll be looking for a potential retest like this. And the high will be my entry. Stop loss will be 3 pips below this low, and that'll be a re-entry into the market. I really don't know why the audio is lagging. There's not really anything I can do about that from my end. I think it's probably internet issues today, but I will see whether there's anything I can do from my end to make the audio perfect for everyone. So now I'm still watching Euro US dollar in case if we do come back to the entry. I'm not going to be surprised to see that. It simply means maybe price is coming back in order to give us a re-entry positions. But if we don't see this re-entry model, then that means we'll just be on the sidelines. If we don't see it and price just continue going to the downside, then maybe it's gonna be another run on liquidity. But one of the things that I'm really, really confident to see a big buy on euro is because of the key level that price has mitigated this inefficiency, and also because of the fact that we're buying below the 12-month open. So this right here, this black line is the 12-month open. I'm going to make it red so we can be able to differentiate the 12-month open. And as you can see, we're buying below the 12-month open. So if I do see another re-entry, I'm still going to take it again, and that will be two positions on euro US dollar. As you can see, this is my overall take profit position. It sounds really outrageous. 1:32, so risking 1%, you're probably going to make 32%. But if this trade should play out, it's going to take weeks. It's not going to play out in one day. It could take 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month for this to play out, because this is 6% move, and on average euro makes a move to the upside or downside. It makes on average, euro moves about 2% per week or 2.5% per week. So I wouldn't be surprised if it takes probably 3 weeks for this to hit my overall target. So I still remain bullish on euro US dollar, and henceforth, I'm only going to be interested in looking for buys for price to continue to go to the upside. So even if I take a buy and I get kicked out, I'm still going to look for another buy again. I'm not interested in looking for sells on the euro. In as much as it could sell, anything can happen and price could still continue lower to run this stop. It's 100% possible, but I'm not expecting that to happen. And from my analysis, everything is showing me that we're bullish on euro US dollar overall, and I'm sticking to that bias and nothing more. So that being said, we're going to look at British pound US dollar, so I'll see what it's doing. So for British pound US dollar, as you can see, I wanted to see a 30 minutes break of structure or a 15 minutes break of structure. We created a high, created a low, and right here you can see we broke structure. But because this is not really my favorite pair to trade, I'm just going to sit this one out. And also, I think we already have an open position on GBP US dollar. But if I was to enter a trade on GBP US dollar, right here would be my entry, stop loss, maybe 3 pips below this low, and this is how I would enter the trade. So I'm still very, very bullish on GBP US dollar, and if this was one of my favorite pairs, I would have entered the trade on this, and I will be hunting for this high to get taken. So it's a 1:6.7 risk to reward ratio. If you find this interesting and you're on the live stream, your red price is still at the entry, you can get in on the trade. Use minimal risk, maybe 0.1, 0.2, or whatever, and take the trade. It's a high probability setup because price came into a weekly inefficiency and also came into a monthly inefficiency as well. So if I was to look for a trade setup, this would be it. If I wanted to get into any position on GBP US dollar, whether it's a buy or sell, this is gonna be it. It's gonna be a buy on GBP US dollar. I'm bullish on GBP US dollar, and most likely price will even smash through this position and rally above this key level, because this is really, really a very interesting trade. Personally, this is a very beautiful buy on GBP US dollar. The only reason I'm not getting into it is because I'm already on Euro US dollar trade, and I'm also waiting for a re-entry on Euro US dollar. So I don't really like to enter too many trades at the same time. It creates a distraction, because now I'm looking for an entry here, looking for another entry here. But if you find this trade interesting, it's a beautiful area. You can just mark it execute right there, and stop loss 3 pips below this low. So that is my analysis on GBP US dollar. So Nuru, you want me to share the setup for the GBP US dollar? Okay. So right here is the setup. Right here is the setup. So let's look at the 15 minutes. So this is the high I'm watching. This is the low, and this is the break. This right here was the last down close candles that broke structure. So right here is the entry. Right here is the entry. We're literally at the entry. So if I was to enter this, I would have entered it right here. We're literally at the entry. My stop loss 3 pips below this low. So whatever low this is on your broker, the low is 1.24088 at 3 pips below it. 3 pips below it. So this is the low. We go to 30 minutes. 37 pips. Adding 3 pips to 37.5 pips will give you 40 points, 40.7 pips. So this is where I would put my stop loss right there, and my entry will be right here. So this right here will be my entry. My entry will be, the current price action is 1.24423. I'll just use the current price action as my entry. And then my stop loss would be 1.24055. And my take profit, my overall take profit is going to be this key level. This is a 1:8.8. My overall take profit position is going to be right here. So this is 1.28058, but you don't really need to hold the entire volume until price gets there, if it does get there. So what I can do if I was getting into this trade is, if we move to the upside like this key level, like here, I'll take like 70% of the profit, or even here, if we come up to this position, I'll trade stop loss to break even. And then if we run above this high, get into this position, I'll take like 30 to 50% of the profit, and then hold the rest to hit take profit. But overall, I still remain very bullish. I still remain very, very bullish on euro, very bullish on GBP US dollar as well. And I wouldn't really be surprised to see a continuation. And we also have our low resistance liquidity resting right here as well, and also have another low resistance liquidity resting right here as well. So these are key levels. Price can easily smash through these positions right here, low resistance liquidity. So you can see low resistance liquidity, first take profit position, and right here, second take profit position. And I wouldn't even be surprised to see GBP US dollar smash through this overall high and come up to this high, because we still have this inefficiency here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it come this high, and that's 1:13. So it's a really, really nice trade. I think Charlie has a buy on GBP US dollar as well. So if you're on the buy, that's amazing. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a really, really good expansion to upside on GBP US dollar. So I'm still watching GBP, I'm still watching Euro US dollar for re-entry. So that's basically why I'm just not really doing so much else besides just watching this, because if I can get a re-entry on Euro US dollar, that trade is going to be mind blowing. It could literally deliver the highest return on the trade that we've ever experienced. So that is why I'm trying so much not to focus on anything else other than getting a re-entry on Euro US dollar. As long as we're bullish, I would like to see a re-entry. And if I do see that re-entry, it could take time, but if I do see that, I'm still going to share that with you all, because it's going to be a higher risk to reward. And I totally understand this past week we've been on a losing streak. It's very normal in trading. And I just want us to get that beautiful trade that will cover whatever loss we incurred last week, and then put us in a better position, more profit this week, and also moving forward. So last week was CPI, so I wasn't really surprised for the losing streak, because when there's CPI, it's really messes up trading. It just makes things so difficult to trade. And even after the CPI, the Monday after CPI, it's also very difficult to trade as well. And you can see yesterday the gold trade that I posted out. This was the entry, this was the stop loss. price just went straight to the stop loss and then went into profit. So this is just things that happen during or after CPI. So it's just why sometimes, personally, sometimes I just try as much as possible to not trade the week of CPI and even the Monday after the week of CPI. I just try to avoid it. But at the end of the day, it's just trading and we have to do the best in our ability. Okay, Noru. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a nice. Let me check the area you put in your limit order. Uh, 24310, 24310. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's still a nice area. I wouldn't be surprised if price still came back to 243. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a nice area to put limit order right there. Yeah. It's still a nice area. Price can still come back in here because we have this resistance right here. It's a very nice area, Noru. We have low resistance liquidity resistance right here. So I wouldn't be surprised for price to come down a bit to run this liquidity one last time. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, and then potentially continuation. Beautiful, beautiful buy limits entry. Beautiful ad buy limiter. So everyone, you can see that if you are consistent, if you're always paying attention, watching the videos, tuning into the live streams, you're gonna be able to do this by yourself. You won't even need any of us to tell you where to place an entry. Like it's a very beautiful area that Nuru has placed his buy limit order, and you can see the reason why, because we have liquidity and he's buying below. He wants to buy below that liquidity. In as much as this is also a key level, we could see rejection, but don't be surprised if price comes in here because you already have a low resistance liquidity resting right here. That price could easily want to run out that low resistance liquidity before a continuation to the upside. Because I still remain bullish and I wouldn't really see much reason for price not to go to the upside because we're very bullish and we've been going to the downside for weeks now. So since 8th of April, we've been in a downtrend since 8th of April. So for over 1 month, we've been in a downtrend. So I wouldn't be surprised to see at least an upward move. Even if we're not bullish overall, I wouldn't be surprised to see an upward move for price to at least visit a premium zone. And where's the premium zone? So right here. So already right here is anything above this red line is premium. And then right here is extreme premium. So even if we're bearish, I'll still like to see price revisit this key level right here. So if you eventually get activated into that buy, this area, you can scale out 50% of your profit from this area. So this is your entry. This area right here, when price comes into this area, you can literally scale out 50% of your profit and then leave the rest. And at this area, this is 1:7 risk to reward. So if you're risking 1%, you're already up 7%. So right here, you hold the rest to hit this area, which is literally 1:20. So I'm very bullish and don't be surprised to see a heavy expansion in the marketplace this coming weeks. Don't be surprised to see the entire market go crazy, but the S&P, Nasdaq, the cryptos, because in 5 days we're gonna have Bitcoin halving. In 4 days, not even 5 days. In 4 days we're gonna have Bitcoin halving, and each time we've had Bitcoin halving, it's been followed by the bull run, and the bull run doesn't even just. It's not even just cryptos. The bull run, it goes into perspective of forex, commodities, everything. Gold is hitting all-time high during the bull run. The S&P 500 is hitting all-time high. Nasdaq is hitting all-time high during the bull run, and even Euro as well is also in a bull run as well after after the halving. I don't really know the correlation between the halving affecting cryptos as well, but probably there's something behind the scenes that we retail traders don't really have an idea of. That is the reason why they all move in tandem with each other after crypto after Bitcoin halving. So that is why I'm not going to be surprised. My only interest in the market is to buy. I'm not interested in trying to sell anything to any point of interest. I'm only interested in buying it to continue higher because, in my opinion, I'm very bullish in all the market except dollar and USD card. Those are just the two pairs that I'm not bullish on. Every other one, I'm looking for buys, including British pound, Japanese yen. I'm still looking for buys on British pound, Japanese yen. So my time's up, but if you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat and I'm going to be there to answer you. So far, our Euro US dollar trade still in profit. Hopefully, price can come down and give us a re-entry and then skyrocket to really astronomical numbers. So for Euro US dollar, I wouldn't really be surprised to see Euro US dollar have an insane expansion to the upside. And the next few years, I wouldn't be surprised to see Euro US dollar hit new all-time highs. Because overall, looking at the 12-month time frame, we are very bullish. Price is consistently creating higher highs and higher low, and a higher high and a higher low and a higher high. So I wouldn't be surprised if Euro US dollar continues going to the upside and eventually creating an all-time high. And if I'm looking at a lot of things I'm even seeing right now while doing this video, while on this live stream, you can see low resistance liquidity, key levels price can easily smash through. And then you can see another low resistance liquidity, key level price can easily smash through. So these are things that I'm looking at and I'm like, I don't even see any reason why Euro US dollar is not going to expand heavily to the upside, even outperforming its performance ever. Literally, the kind of performance I'm anticipating to see on Euro US dollar is something that has never been seen. Something that you go on the news and you're hearing things like, we've never seen Euro US dollar perform this well to the upside ever in history. That is the kind of move that I'm expecting from Euro US dollar. But so hopefully it's just anticipation, it's just analysis. There's no certainty at the end of the day. That is the reason why we're always using risk management, in as much as everything, all my analysis is pointing towards the upside, telling me to look for only buys on Euro US dollar. But at the end of the day, it's still not a certainty. That is the reason why we always say use good risk management parameters. Even though we are so confident that price will go to the upside, we still use good risk management parameters. So I appreciate you all for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all next time. Have an amazing day, everyone.